Let's see, participants. Hi! Let's see. Oh.
On.
There, now I can hear you.
Okay.
Yay! Hi,
Irma. Should I put the headphones on, or can you hear me without? Well,
all right. Hi, everyone. Welcome. So excited to have you here. We have our beautiful Irma Kaye Sawyer in the house. We're so excited to welcome Irma. So happy to have you here.
Oh, I'm so happy to be back on the Cosmic Couch with Shannon.
Right?
It's been too long. What a fantastic way to start this 11-year, this wonderful year of illumination and all kinds of magic by being on the Cosmic Couch. In this very cool, I love that Shannon chose the Aquarius moon, which is very perfect for what we're doing.
That was totally accidental, by the way.
What was that?
It was accidental, by the way.
Well, I think it's perfect because this is all very Aquarian stuff. I was guided, because my challenge in an Aquarian moon is, you just get way up in your upper chakras, and I'm always reminded to ground. So we're going to do some nice grounding work in the activation meditation, because this is, any good energy worker is energy work trick knows that the more grounded you are, the more you can bring in. So we want to have the energy nice and balanced, right? We don't want to be like, woo. I mean, we'll be up there, but we'll be here too.
Yes, multidimensional.
What I'm trying to say. And then with it's Aquarius moon, sometimes you have to go, you have to really think a little more about your words, because you are so in other dimensions. So, but I do think for the material today that this is perfect. So thank you. Thank you.
Welcome. So for all of those who are new to this and may not have had a chance to meet the beautiful Irma Kaye Sawyer, I'm just going to take a little bit of time just to tell people who you are.
Thank you.
And then, of course, you fill in if I leave something out.
You'll do great. Thank you. I know already.
Thank you. Well, we are so honored and blessed to have beautiful Irma Kaye Sawyer. She is an amazing person and an energy healer, an Akashic Records reader, an author of 5+ books, because I didn't even count the ebooks yet. But she's of the Aquarian Empath series. There's a series of 4 books. And Aquarian Empath Healer 1 and 2,
yeah.
Aquarian Empath, and Aquarian Empath Path to Abundance.
You got it. Good job.
Woo! And the Cosmic Keys to
Cosmic Love.
Cosmic Love, Keys to the Path of Light.
Yay!
Wow. She is one of the most amazing channels right to the galactic center. So we're so honored to have you here, Irma. And if you want to learn more about Irma, go to her website, irmasawyer.com.
Irma Kaye Sawyer.
Is it Irma Kaye Sawyer?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Irma Kaye Sawyer.
The letter K, Sawyer.com. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Awesome. I think I might have went to the older one or something.
You might have. Yeah.
Oh, thank you for that.
IrmaKayeSawyer.com.
Okay, we'll put that in the comments too, so get you the right link to go see Irma. And then she's got a ton of amazing Facebook groups going on. She's the main cosmic weather girl from Cosmic Weather. She's been in practice since 1992. So you come with so much wealth of knowledge, experience, practice. And she's recently just started a Bright Star Emporium Facebook group that is growing like wildfire. And that's where I am getting like all of my crystals. I'm so excited. And Irma even has more that I just got to order. I'm so happy. So Irma, I'm turning it over to you. That's
this is Shannon's.
I'm so excited.
Activated. We're so excited.
I feel so blessed. So thank you, Irma, for coming on today and telling us about crystal skulls. We're all excited.
Thank you so much. What a wonderful invitation, introduction. I really appreciate that. Skulls, very interesting. People are either attracted to them or they're kind of repulsed by them. I used to be kind of neutral on them. I've been collecting and learning about crystals, probably almost my entire career. Bright Star Emporium used to be an actual store a retail place. So I actually sold them, you know, at a physical location before I sold them online. So I'm, you know, Crystals and I, you know, go way back. And so I had a good idea kind of what people liked, like what people were attracted to, what was selling. You know, of course, we love the rose quartz and the amethyst and the clear quartz and the beautiful smoke, you know, the darker ones for grounding. And so there was, you know, some things that I was seeing around that. But it's interesting when Shannon and I, with some other wonderful goddesses, went to Sedona last year. And I shared the picture, you guys, if you haven't seen that, in the event page that Shannon created for this event. There's a picture of me with my hands on the skull. Like I said, there's more goofy pictures that Shannon that are really funny. Me going, that was the largest crystal skull I've ever encountered. And now that I know the value and the cost of those, that was multi-thousands of dollars crystal skull. And I immediately got this download. And of course you're in Sedona, so, you know, it's downloads aplenty in Sedona anyway, right?
Yeah.
But I just got that it immediately spoke to me and said, we recognize you as a crystal guardian. And I went, that's interesting. Okay. So then I'm like, I'm going to be open to where I can get these, where I can get some of my own, where I can start selling them. So I started doing research. And of course, it's very important where you get them from. I found some very good sources. I also, you know, every crystal that I sell is cleansed and blessed and activated before it even leaves the Bright Star house. But I was finding there was some inconsistency. Like some of these were great quality, some were not. There's a huge vast of costs. Some are extremely expensive. And it's one of those things, like, just because it's so much money, it doesn't mean it's a superior piece. You know, that's kind of how there's a lot of tricky stuff going on with that. So I started getting some, and this was one of the first ones I got. This is my honey calcite.
Wow.
This is Agatha, or Aggie for short. And the way I describe her energy is she reminds me of Maggie Smith's character in Harry Potter. Oh, we've got a cat.
Yay!
Yeah, we got Luna. Luna's popping by, of course.
Right.
So, Alex is over there in the corner, and he was yay, I know, Luna Kitty. The first one I got was very much a male energy, and I loved that the second one I got was female energy to kind of, you know, balance it out. And I'll be talking a little bit more about how I got their names and how you can get their names and that kind of information. Just wanted to share that. So moving forward, I have to introduce people to Adi. Adi Dom, or Adi for short. Oh, it takes two hands. This is Adi.
Wow.
He weighs about 15 pounds. He's made of rhodonite. And I found him in all places in Sin City. And
really?
In Las Vegas.
Whoa.
He's from Las Vegas. And Patty, who's maybe is here today. We have great stories. Hi, Patty. We have some great stories about this and how she's waving. Hi. So I found him on the 222.
Wow.
Stargate.
Really?
And so really interesting. So his energy, of course, because I kept getting, I should back up. Put him down. He's heavy. Getting that I needed a formidable skull. I needed one that was larger than 3 inches because mine were 2 and 3 inches. And again, nothing wrong with that. You know, this size crystal, this guy's skull, this is a wonderful skull, you know, but I was getting that for my purposes and activating other skulls to them and doing meditations that I needed one that was formidable. Interesting story. I was reading that, and we'll be talking about if you're a crystal skull guardian, a lot of times the ones that are for you, as you know, they'll make their way to you. You'll just find them. And I was reading, it's interesting because part of the reason I was looking at these large ones and I was going, I literally cannot spend $600 for a skull right now. That's not in the budget. And I ended up getting a really wonderful price on Adi. Of course, I'm a wholesale dealer, so I'm not paying retail, but it was one of those things like the universe, I was supposed to have this skull.
Right.
And the person, you know, that carried it, I mean, his wife was really wonderful. And she just came up to him and said, this woman, she's purchased, you know, and he's like, oh, no problem. So it was one of those things like Adi's supposed to be mine. You know, I won't go into the whole story about his energy, but his energy is very deep. It's very guru-like. I was sharing with Shannon that I haven't spent a lot of time with him. Every time I commune with him, I get something. I get some information. Yesterday, I was told, he kept showing me Sai Baba, this image of Sai Baba, another guru. And Sai Baba, I told Shannon the story, but you haven't heard it, so I'll tell you. Sai Baba manifested something called vibhuti out of his hands, which is holy ash. And he would, put it on people's chakras, on their third eye, on top of their head. And I remembered that I had some. I didn't have Sai Baba's ash anymore, but I had some from City Yoga. That was from a fire puja, and it was put up. So he wanted to be doused, with that yesterday on his third eye in his crown. So he's all ready to go today to activate. So what we're going to be doing today is, if you have crystal skulls, we put it out there. It's nice if they're in the room with you today. That would be great. If they're close to by your person, that's good too. If we need to, I think in a minute before we do the meditation, we are going to do like a little brief break, I think, just to kind of get oriented and hold on.
Is that Miss Penny Lane?
You know what? Can I take a brief little break and put her in?
Of course. I'll be happy to chat.
Will you chat with folks? I'll be right there.
Okay, no problem. So does anybody have any questions, comments? Yeah. You love, yes, Shauna, you love puppies. Yes, you do. You're such a good mama. Yeah, so it's so cool. So today is an Aquarius moon, like Irma was sharing. And so this is like such a nice energy to open up to your higher mind and allow like yourself just to stay in this place of listening and receiving like a download. She's back. Yay.
I'm back.
Oh, I forgot to tell everybody I have my wizard ring on.
Oh, beautiful. That looks so great on you.
Thank you. I love this thing. I want to wear it all the time.
Oh, it's so you. Yeah, it is, isn't it?
And I got this from Bright Star.
I need to order some more of those. Those went like hotcakes.
I know. It's like we need one for like every finger.
I know. I know. People were like, the pictures of those people were like, oh, what? Like,
I know. Totally. They're so awesome.
Those are they are badass. I agree, Nicole. They're Tibetan, and each one is one of a kind. So yeah, I'm very blessed to have those.
Yeah.
So back to this. So basically, November 11/11 is when it really kicked up for me and the skulls. It kind of makes sense as a logical kind of next step for me, especially being an Akashic reader, and we'll talk a little bit about that. Crystal skulls are part of the Akashic communications network, if you will. Mm-hmm. And the thing is every skull, this is some information I was given, and it also was verified by some other sources as being accurate. Mm-hmm. Every skull is part of the grid, of the crystalline grid.
Wow. The
ones that are larger, like Adi, that are more sentient, so to speak, they're more sentient beings, they have a different purpose. Again, it's not better or worse. They all have a different purpose. Even the little tiny pocket skulls that I sell, and you have some, Shannon, that are smaller. See, yeah, like there we go. The size. Yes, those are beautiful. Those are great. So the size, it has to do with the purpose and what you're doing with it. But it's not one of those things like, oh, I have to go get some expensive large skull. You really don't have to. Mm-hmm. If you want to be part of the Cosmic Skull Communication Network, you just need to get a skull. And if you don't get one from me, I recommend that you do get one from a good source that is made of good quality material. That's important. That it's not plastic, that it's real, that it really is a crystal skull. I mean, there really is some stuff out there that's not very good. So you have to be discerning. And again, it's not necessarily, it's inexpensive. Can you all explain how they come?
Oh, how they came about and how they're carved.
That's a good question. Some are carved by hand. Some are created in a machine process. The first ones these go back all the way to indigenous people. We do know that the Mayans had these. There is a Mar, that's an ancient crystal skull that a lot of ones at Bright Star Emporium have been charged with. Alex which is not, he's over in the corner now, but Alex has been charged, Alexander's his full name. He's been charged and activated with Amar. And Amar is an ancient skull. They don't even know how old he is. They believe he's probably thousands of years old. And he's a really formidable energy. What were you going to say, dear?
Is that part of like the 13 skulls prophecy kind of? Do you know about the 13 skulls?
I do. I don't know we'll have to look up and see if Amar is part of the 13 skulls.
Okay.
Can you read this question to me, please?
Sure. What makes them special? Do certain stones request to become skulls?
That's a really interesting question. I think that they're special. We'll talk about why they're special. There's something about the actual shape and size. Mm-hmm. And the fact that they have eyes, they have, what's indicated as an eye. This is, that's a really popular question. Like what's the difference between a beautiful piece of crystal, like in a quartz point, as opposed to like this beautiful skull that's going to be going home with Shannon? Mm-hmm. Well, they found that there's something about the shape that it has to do with the human head. Another thing to talk about is there's ET skulls, because I know some people have some that are going to be watching this. ET skulls, that have bigger eyes that are shaped less human. These traditionally are more connected to star people, to extraterrestrial energy, but you do not have to have an ET skull to bring that kind of energy through, because basically all crystal skulls are high consciousness, high vibration. What I was told about them is that it's interesting. One of the things that I was recently told, Audie told me this, mm-hmm. when he was having me put ash on him. The reason there's an aversion to them by some people, other than some people just don't like skulls, and we're not talking about that. We're talking about people that have maybe a memory of it, like more of a deeper reaction. And he told me, and the Crystal Skull, basically communications network has said there was a time, I don't know if it was in Atlantis or when it was, doesn't matter, but people have misused this energy. Right? People have misused all energy. And so now the interesting thing about these is the ones that are coming back now, you can't misuse the energy.
Is there like a protection or something?
Yes. These are kind of vibing so high that any kind of weird intention, it won't even work, is kind of what I got. So the ones that are emerging now, the reason they came back to us is because we are the guardians of this new energy. People that are attracted to skulls, a lot of them, not all of them, are people that are participating in bringing about higher consciousness as way showers on the planet. The primary, I'd say the majority of people that own them and are attracted to them are light workers. And I'm getting out there, and I've been a distributor of them now for several months. But I'm also in crystal groups. I'm talking to people. Like, this has, been really exciting. It's been my new thing. And people, for the most part, are using these really positively, really productively. So what do you do? What can you use them for? You can use them for healing. You can use them for manifestation. Can we kind of maybe do questions at the end? Why don't we Shannon and I were talking about that. We were going to do a Q&A at one point. Can we do that maybe?
Yeah, so there's a box that you can open if you're on Zoom. You can put your question in the Q&A, and it'll pop up that there's your questions there, and then we'll get to it at the end. How does that sound?
I want to do that, before we go into meditation.
Okay.
So I want to share what this ties into what I'm talking about. I was given some information that isn't really that widely known. I think it's pretty new information. So basically, that they kept showing me that inside the skull, like a human being, they kept showing me a pineal gland.
Wow.
What looked like a pineal gland, and like human beings have. And even the little tiny ones had one.
Wow.
Like deep down, in like where it would be in the skull. Yeah. Like, yes, right there. And they also were showing me what you just showed, that bridge, the third eye. Yes, third eye. And yes, exactly. They were showing me that all of the skulls had this, that the larger skulls like Adi, this crystalline pineal gland, for lack of a better word, is larger. and it's able to transmit and receive more information. But this is the transmitting center inside the crystal skull.
Wow, that's crazy. And so it's like a big hi Luna. So it's transformation, like getting information from a different consciousness.
It's getting information from the crystalline skull network.
The network. Okay.
Yes, from the grid.
Wow.
And then I've also shown that there's different aspects of that. There's hi baby. There's the grid that they're all part of, but another thing too is, well, they do have distinct personalities. I love, like Nicole shared with here. Hi Nicole, that was a great story. I gave her a recommendation on how to receive the name, and she received that her skull's name was Chelsea, which is
that's right, Chelsea.
Really pretty name, really sweet name. And so basically, a lot of times what you just need to do is just commune with it. You go into meditation. A lot of times you'll be told its name. I don't know if I ever told you this, but that skull in Sedona, that doesn't have a name.
It doesn't have a name?
Because it's like all the names.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
That skull is like
crazy.
That thing's like the I am. That thing carries I am energy. Like really, if anybody's in Sedona, it's at Crystal Gratitude.
Go see them.
This is in the wherever that. It's in Oak Creek, part of Sedona, and go in there, and they're very generous with it. They let you hang out with it as long. Lovely people there, and I just got that it's all the names, because normally when I connect with a skull, I will get its name. Unless and sometimes if it's someone else's, I never will get anyone else's name, because that's like inappropriate. Like when I get a skull that I know is not mine, like Shannon's is unnamed, but we're going to activate him or her today. Yay! That's why it's kind of inappropriate to name someone else's skull. And I talked about this too, because I might receive a name based on my perception of the skull that's very different than your perception, right? Because it's you're the guardian of it. It's your skull. Because that's another thing too, is I've had people ask me, can you read the energy of my skull like off a picture? I could do it. I don't like to do that. If it's, and I feel like if it's your skull and you're comfortable with it, go with that. I feel like there's not a lot of mistakes that are made. Like you get the wrong, there's a higher intelligence at work when you choose one.
Would you, as part of like your intuitive counseling or classes, would you teach someone how to commune with their skull? If they're
absolutely. And I mean, we'll talk about it today a little when we do the meditation, but absolutely. I mean, that's an intuitive process. But the thing about these is they're so lit, as I like to say. They're so energized that I think a skull is an easier lit. I think a skull is an easier energy to read than maybe just a random crystal. Like
And do you think it's because of the shape that their skulls like are? Okay.
And I think because of its connection to the crystalline grid, the skull network. All crystals are part of the crystalline grid, just to be clear on that. But the skulls are part of their own thing. So that's why, I was saying, but when people buy them, I'm like, you're part of the Scully Club. And it's really an exciting thing. It's really cool. And it really, I feel, is a sacred honor to be a guardian of a skull. And again, they're not for everybody, because people ask me that too. I'm trying to address, I get a lot of questions.
I bet.
Similar, so I'm trying to address. And it's like, if they're not for you, then they're not for you. And that's okay. Your work with crystal energy might be very different, and the crystals are in general, are such a profound gift for us. So, this is just one area, but I'm really glad that you invited me on today, because I do get a lot of questions, and I think this is a great place to just kind of talk about what we can do with them. So that being said, I'm going to go back to this. So, back to the first point, pineal gland. Of course, it's not a gland because it's not a human being, but it is equivalent to a message and receiving center within the crystal skull itself. And the way it was shown to me is it really did look like a pineal gland where it was located within the skull. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like a crystalline pineal gland, like I said, for lack of a better term.
Wow.
Okay. Another thing I was told is that we know that there's issues with calcification of human pineal glands. This is caused, we know, by fluoridation, by pollution, by all kinds of lower vibrational stuff. Chances are a lot of people that do have a crystal skull, excuse me, I'm adjusting here, will be kind of a higher vibrational human. You know, we can't say that across the board, but it's pretty good assumption. But what I was told with these was that if there is any, you know, material that needs to be removed from our pineal gland, that the skulls will help with this.
Wow, really? So they help detoxify and help us awaken our pineal gland.
Especially if you have that intention when you're working with it.
Oh.
And I'm going to be recording some crystal skull meditations.
Wow, that's wonderful.
That will be available. They'll be on my website, you know, in an MP4 format. And I think that because I was led on some of those, and yay! I'm glad you think so, Patty. I was thank you so much for being here today. So yeah, that was what I was told, you know, too, that it also helps not only remove calcification, helps open up our third eye, our own third eye, right, for greater intuitive perception. The one thing that I got, and they told me this twice, because the grid told me this twice, because they wanted me to get it. Like, we want you to really get this, was that the main reason that they're back now, their main purpose, they have lots of purpose, but this is their main purpose, is to help people get unplugged from the illusion of the matrix.
Really? Oh my God, that is huge.
Big. It's very big.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of their oversoul, their overreaching purpose. Each one, of course, you know, some are for healing, some are for manifestation. Of course, you know, it talks about if you get a rose quartz one, that's very good for love, it's very good for self-love. You know, for example, Audi is rhodonite, is also very good for love. And based on how I use him in work, it's perfect that he's rhodonite, because the thing about the clear crystal is I was thinking like, oh, I'm going to get this huge clear crystal, you know, like the size that Shannon got. Let me show this again. I think he's probably he or she's probably 3 inches, a little bit over 3 inches. Okay. Do you see that? This is so powerful. This size of a quartz crystal skull is really kind of, in my opinion, not all you need, but unless you're drawn to go big, larger, but because quartz is such a powerful receiver. You know, it's the highest, it's the quartz, right? It's like, I'm not a scientist, but we do know that quartz is used in science and technology, that quartz crystals are used in this way. So it was almost like for me to have this really large skull, it kind of, and it's not stepping it down. It's just a softer, you know, it's a softer energy. Rhodonite's a softer energy. It's a heart chakra energy. Whereas quartz is like, you know, it's way up there. Yeah. So like this skull would be a great one to activate your other skulls with.
Ah, okay.
You know what I mean, I use Alex. My skull, Alex is the same size as this, and he is the activating skull.
I see. Okay, so you have an activating skull and then have your other skull family around it.
Yes. And what you do is you actually have the third eye, like if we're looking at each other right now and our third eyes are touching.
Yes.
Right? That's how you would activate another skull, is you'd put it in front of the other skull with the, you know, facing the other skull.
Oh.
And we're gonna do that.
When you do that.
I'm sorry, what was that?
There's like an energy when you do that, when you face them together or have them like in a certain kind of alignment.
Absolutely, really there is. See, like, so this, when I work with Audie today, I'm going to be, I'm going to bring him, he's going to be faced out.
Okay.
He's going to be transmitting outward.
Okay.
Okay. So that's another thing that, I mean, I was told that, but that's not, you know, that esoteric. That's kind of in the information. Okay. So I'm trying to think of if there was anything. What, can you read that to me?
Oh, I love how his nose is an upside down heart.
Yeah, I do too, Patty. I know this it's perfect because he's about the heart. So it's like that's why he's so special. His carving is perfect for what he does. But what he does do, speaking of Audie, is he's here to just bring back everybody to the consciousness that they are love. That they're one with source. And he really is, like, I kept wondering because he's named after Adi Dam is another name for Joffrey John. I'll just speak about him quickly. Okay. Joffrey John, I believe, is passed on. My beloved Merle Smith, otherwise known as Giggling Buddha, you've heard me refer to him. He was a big fan of Adi Dam when he was called Joffrey John. Joffrey John was a person that was born totally awake.
Wow.
He was awake when he was a baby. He has memories of being in the womb. He has full soul recall of previous lives. This guy was, there's that word again, lit. He was,
this guy was lit.
the guy was fired up. Yeah, he was really fired up. So it was really interesting to get Audie in Las Vegas, which
of all places,
not my favorite place, but I was with a very special friend, and we were seeing Elton, which was really
Saint Elton.
Elton in a small venue. It was magical. So yeah, it was really great that I got him on. It was just interesting to be like in this high Stargate in Las Vegas. It was just so interesting. But I'm back at the hotel. We had a little bit of time before we were going to the Elton show. And I just got this really Las Vegas can be funny like that. There's a lot of little pockets of interesting things going on there. Wow. My one friend described it well. You have to kind of get in between energies.
Really?
There's a lot going on. And yeah, there's a lot going on, and you can kind of slip in and get into some pretty high stuff. Not to mention, there's some beautiful healer light workers that I know that actually live there. So bless you. As an empath, that place is a little challenging for me. Just saying.
Right?
Right. Yeah, a little bit challenging, but. I got that he very much carries, the reason he's named after Adi Dam is that he carries this guru energy, and that he actually is going to give like a Shaktipat or a satsang or more like a darshan. He's going to give darshan, which is a blessing. And a blessing is, and that's because Shaktipat is higher level, and I don't think he'll give Shaktipat to everybody because you have to be ready for that. But he will give is a darshan, which is a general blessing. So that's his purpose, and that makes a lot of sense because that's my purpose. So he really, and I'm telling the story because I think it's a good example of how your crystal skull. Very much when you get attuned to them, they start reflecting your mission, your purpose, your healing work, that kind of thing. And that's why I'm really, curious and encouraged to hear about Shannon, to hear about your work with them because of the amazing, astrological and other work that you do. Okay. Can you read what she says here? Totally explains
my expression while I held him.
Oh, right. That was, we have that great picture. Yeah, there's a great, and it's, what's great is it's up on the thread again, because whenever people comment in group, it brings the, the picture back.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of, when people pop over to Bright Star Emporium later, there's some great pictures of Audie, and there's that great picture of Patty with Audie, which is so great. Because
that's wonderful.
He was one of the very first people to hang out with him because it was in the store, so it was really cool.
So you both kind of found him together.
Because there was a few of them, and I kept going back on. There's something about that one, but then again, it was a little cost prohibitive. So I'm glad that I love that worked out. So I think we have some questions.
Yes, I'll open up the Q&A box and I'll read them to you.
Thank you. I'm going to get a sip while you do that.
Okay, so let's see. Answer live. So this is from Nancy, and so she says, so the skull shape is kind of like a tool, like a crystal point. The shape harnesses and translates energy in a special way.
Yes.
All right, this is very fascinating to me.
Yes. Very good question. It does. The skull shape is, they found, is more akin to human consciousness because it actually looks like a human being. That's what, people have noted that people have been working with these for hundreds of years. I have to share something really quick. It's probably down the wall, too far down. I'm going to try to find it. Yeshi Droma, one of my dear sisters, she's probably not here today. She's probably working out doing the wonderful work with animals that she does. So shouting out to Yeshi. Yeah.
Thank you, Yeshi.
Yay. Yeah, she does wonderful stuff in the world. But she shared something that was really powerful. I'm going to ask her for this again because it's probably way down.
Okay.
But there was not only have there been pictures like of Max, people have heard of Max.
I met Max.
Yeah. I haven't met him, but I know a lot of people got their mind blown with Max.
Yeah.
He kind of was never where I was. So I kind of missed out on his tour where I was living at the time, but he's pretty major. So there's that, but and there's photos, unretouched photos of all kinds of light coming out of the top of his skull and pretty wild stuff. But she shared a video of some beautiful Native American people that had one of these ancient skulls, and the tribal leader, and I believe it was the chief, the Indian chief, was meditating with this, and they took a before and after, and this blew my mind. Wow. And these are guaranteed to be unretouched photos. He would say, "Oh, I'm receiving a power animal. It's a crow." And they would show the picture of the skull, and an image of the crow was in the skull.
No way. Like it was a holographic kind of image.
It was in there for like a minute.
Whoa.
And all kinds of people saw it.
Wow.
And there's all kinds of people that validated this, and that this was completely, and you just know it's not phony. Like you just feel it in your gut.
Right.
So this is a thing that shows what a powerful receiver and transmitter of consciousness. And also it shows you that everything is energy. This may look like it's a solid rock, right? About as solid as it gets. Well, then how do you explain that? It explains that everything is energy. You're dealing with someone whose own energetic vehicle is so clear and so precise that they're able to transmit their own spiritual images within this tool.
Wow.
Which is what was happening. Uh-huh. So this shows you the potential that, indigenous native cultures, ancient cultures have known about the power of these items as tools. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, you read the article. Yeah, it was in group. And again, I'm going to share it again. It was fascinating. It was an article. It had video. It was great. So thank you for that question. There's another one. I'll let you.
It's from Nancy again. She's super curious. We love Nancy. So she says, you talk about them as entities. I understand that crystals have consciousness once they are carved into skulls. Do they simply become more conscious as we have shaped them into our likeness? Or are they harnessing and channeling entities? And then she says in parentheses, I'm asking as I'm new onto this, transferring beliefs from more religious background, and I'm trying to understand who I'd be communicating with.
Okay, that's an interesting question because I've had people tell me that they feel that there are, quote, entities attached to the crystals. I have not experienced that with any of mine. I feel that each skull that I have has a personality, has a certain identity. It's given me a name, but I feel that it's a sentient being in its own right that is connected to, again, a larger network. Okay. Like you can say that, for example, all animals are connected. There's an oversoul that connects all animals, even though your animal has its own personality, its own energy, but it's connected to this larger thing. This is, I think, a good metaphor, a good way to, explain how they're connected. So I'm not really, sure if I think the shape is part of it, but I think it's also due to the fact that we've got these ancient skulls that are highly activated, that are a part of the Akashic records, that carry so much energy and information within them, and they're able to activate other skulls. So this is a way that we keep this Akashic knowledge, this ancient knowledge flowing through them. This, in my opinion, is why they're very, very powerful. And especially people that are intuitive, that are clairvoyant, that are clairaudient, that are Akashic readers like myself, this is another reason why they're really powerful tools, because they can tap into that. The thing is, do you need that a crystal to tap into that? No, you don't. But I can tap into it, and I have a tool, and it becomes, something else altogether. Right. So, and again, I think I was led to this at this particular time in my journey. There's a reason I wasn't all into the crystal skulls 3 years ago. I wasn't in that place in my life then. I am now.
Do you think, Irma, because you're so connected to the galactic center, like even through your astrology chart, do you think as we moved into that alignment, do you think something opened for you?
No doubt. No doubt.
Right?
Yeah. Because, because 11/11 opened up. Remember in December when we had Mercury conjunct galactic center.
Yes.
And when in the main chart, and that's conjunct in my chart. So that's a good question. Thank you. That's when I got that I wanted, one of the chapters from the new book is called Greetings from Galactic Center.
Oh, wow.
Because that's when I started getting all that particular stuff. So it's interesting. I haven't really done a lot of digging around. It's interesting. I'm treating this is funny. They're laughing at this. When you're interested in someone and you're dating them and you're like, oh, and I, as astrologers was like, I'm going to run the chart. I'm going to run everything, find everything about them. Yeah. Right? Like, this is what we do. Like, what am I getting into? And, oh gosh, is there Mars in some screwed up place to mine or whatever? Right?
Yeah.
Right? But what I did with these is I just let them speak to me. And it was like in going on some dates with someone and just not reading everything about them, not going in the record. I mean, the partner I'm with now, I only looked in the record, honestly, when we had a conflict that we needed to resolve, and we needed that as a tool. And it helped us. Mm-hmm. But I did not go digging around like, who are you? I want to see every single lifetime we've had together. It's like I've let it evolve. And I'm really glad that I did. And also, this is a sign, of maturity, because I would have not done that before.
When you were younger?
Oh, no. I would have been like going to all the psychics, reading all the charts, doing all the stuff. Right? So yeah. I think that this is my thing about the skulls is I respect them enough that I'm letting them just speak to me. I'm letting them tell me who they are. And I mean, there's some, I have read some information that's kind of common knowledge. I have read, there's some books and there's some articles, and I have read some material by some experts, but as far as I want to get kind of my own information, and Shannon knows that this is kind of what I'm about. I want to get my own stuff. And especially since we're in this new time, can you read that to me?
Yeah, this is from Shauna. It says,
hi, Shauna.
I know, hi, Shauna. It's perfect for me now as I evolve from the old pattern of figuring it out.
Oh, beautiful. Oh, I'm with you, sister.
I know, right?
I have a Virgo stellium. I
know, right?
A closet full of those T-shirts, right? Like, oh my gosh, I gotta figure it out. Another thing that I discovered, and GB helped me with this, because he had all this Pisces and I had all this Virgo, so of course it's opposite, right? Opposites attract. But sometimes, like the whole knowledge is power, and there's all this stuff. But sometimes knowing why isn't as liberating as we think it's going to be.
Right. It almost like, because sometimes the universe says, well, we got to surprise you a little bit, especially when you're really intuitive and you're open to understanding.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's like, let's make it fun. And I mean, there's so much control. I really, like I said, I get control freakism. I get it. And I had a lot of work and it's not that I don't have it anymore. I'm just a lot more conscious. That's what happens when you work with your chart energy. And this is what you're so great with people, Shannon. It's like, what are these, what challenges, what are the benefits? How can I work with my chart in a way, right, that I can navigate life in the best way? But yeah, the control stuff. Yeah.
It's exhausting.
It's completely exhausting. And it's futile in so many ways. So I feel like, I think this is interesting how this ties in. I think that's a great little story that I told, because I really this shows that I really have changed, because I'm not trying to, uncover every mystery all at once. Because I'm a Scorpio rising, right? So it's like,
you're digging deep.
Get in there and find out. So it's just like, what does this have to tell me? Why don't I just sit with this? And that's been a sweeter way to be for me. But again, it took quite a journey to get there. So I think that's why another reason these tools are so powerful, and the skulls are so powerful, and because they really have so much to teach us and show us. And that being said, how do you work with yours? Meditate with yours, hang out with it. Meditate with it in your lap. Just commune with it. Just spend time with it.
Yeah, just say hello.
Yeah, say hello. Like Nicole was saying, she invited it into her family and communed with it, and then she received the name. This is all very respectful. This is like inviting a guest right into your home, like, welcome to our home. I love how she did that. Yeah, exactly. I loved how you did that, and the way you explained that was really beautiful, and that was so respectful and in the best energy, the best intention. So again, it's important to remember that, like all crystals, the skulls respond to your intention, right? So your intention is very important. Okay.
Right,
and I think
they kind of amplify it as
well.
They
do. And I think there's another question. Why don't you let me know about that?
Okay. This is from Nicole.
Okay. Hi, Nicole.
Hi, Nicole. Do they only attune to doing one thing, like only healing or only manifesting?
That's a really good question. And I found that they have multi-dimensional purposes. I feel that if you assign one purpose to a crystal, it will amplify it that much more. If you only have one crystal in your whole life and you don't get a family, you just get one, then I feel that the multidimensional aspect of it would be more open. But see, I have mine serve a purpose, and they've told me what they do. They've told me what they do. And like, for example, Alex is the activator. He activates the skulls that I sell at Bright Star Emporium. He does have healing energy, and he has other properties and qualities, but that's a great question. But he really I think since I have him focused on that, and that's his job, that how it is when you do one job over and over and you get practice and you get good at it. So I feel like that's kind of how that goes. But since they are multidimensional, I think you could have them do several tasks to answer your question.
Oh, that's awesome.
They're activated by your intention. Yeah. Yes. You're welcome. Good question. Thank you.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay.
So Nancy has one more question, I think kind of going back to her earlier question, because she's moving out of that religious kind of way of looking and then opening up and just wanting to feel safe to open up to a new awareness.
Sure.
So she asks, are they good? Are they all good high vibrational energy? Like, meaning, I think she means, are they all the crystal skulls good high vibrational energy?
That's a good question. It's like any crystal. You need to know where it comes from. Crystals, for example, in metaphysical stores, this is why people are attracted to my store. And I hear this a lot. I have a very good source that gets them straight from Brazil. He gets them literally from the mine. The Lemurians that I get are from the mine. I have a miner give them to my friend who gives them to me. That's how many people have touched that crystal that you'll receive from Bright Star Emporium. 100 people in a metaphysical store aren't putting their grubby hands and energy all over it. And believe me, that's a problem. That becomes a problem. I've bought stuff, like I picked it up and I'm like, oh man, like there's not enough sage in the world for this thing. I mean, when you open it to the public, yeah, it is important. When you open up crystal sales to the general public at a retail store, see, my store didn't have very many people coming in and out, and it was all our clients, and it was pretty high vibe, and it was okay. But when you have like a large metaphysical store that gets a big like in LA or some of these stores where there's a lot of people, then you get people touching them. You get lots of people in interacting with it energetically. So to answer your question, crystals are neutral. Crystal skulls are neutral. It's very important where you purchase them. And it's also very important who has been touching them, hanging around. Have they been hanging and getting dust in the back of a store? It's almost like, when you go to a thrift store or something, or an antique store, you always want to clear it, that's a benefit of Bright Star Emporium. You don't have to clear our items. They have been blessed and cleared for you. We do not program them, which means we do not put any intention in them. That is the job of the, so to speak, of the customer. That's what you get to do when you receive the item from the Emporium. But you know that it's not, doesn't have funky energy. So thank you for that question. That's a very important question and a good one. That's why I think with skulls, you know, I've done some research. And again, there's some stuff out there that they're made in factories in China. And they, you know, it's not that they have bad vibes. They have no vibes.
Right.
They just they don't have any anima. They don't
yeah, good.
They don't have it. You know, you pick it up and you go, is there hello? Like it just doesn't have yeah, like really, is anybody in there? So, and again, crystals, all crystals can be programmed, can be activated. But again, do you want to get it? I look at it like, do you really want to buy that fixer, that house that you've got to take down with the studs? Do you really have the energy for that and the money? No, you don't, you know? Do you want to get something that maybe needs a little paint and maybe just needs a little bit of you in there? Cool. Everybody likes that, right?
Right.
I think that's another good analogy because some of these crystals, and again, not to say that you can't get something. I have some people that have these ones that, what do they call them? Empathic warriors or something like that. Like ones that that are a little beat up. They're the rescue skulls, you know,
like from the land of broken toys.
Yeah, they're from the broken toy. Yeah, and the thing is there's nothing wrong with these. They maybe don't look as beautiful. I know, rescue skulls. Isn't that funny? I called them that. They wouldn't call them that.
The distressed look.
The distressed look. But yeah, again, if I'm not that attached to it being the most beautiful looking thing, if it has I'm attracted to it and I like its vibe, why not? So it has a chip. So it has a little imperfection. To me, they're all beautiful, right? So they really are. I mean,
you know why, Irma? Because you're a crystal mom.
I'm the crystal mom. That's right. Hashtag crystal mom. So of course I'm going to love them like a mom, which, you know, if they are a little funky, I'm still going to love them, which is just, you know, that's just who I am. But anyway, that's a really good question. I'm glad you asked that. So, and again, this isn't a big plug for everybody to buy them from me, but I just want to let you know that this is important. Like I take this very seriously in the items that I sell because these are tools. These are going in the majority of my clients have primarily been fellow empaths. It's very important that I don't pass along anything that I'm not proud of, and I don't. So that's how that goes.
I would love just to second that. Is like, I love buying crystals from you because, you know, first I know you, right? And I love you. So, you know, that's, and I know
you too.
I know everything that I buy from you is handpicked by you or from a great source that you've investigated.
Yes.
And that you give the stamp of the Irma Bright Star approval.
Yes.
Right. And
Absolutely.
then I know that you are going to bless everything that you put into that box and mail to me. So it's not only going to be blessed by being in your space, by you picking it out, and the whole journey of it getting to me, even like at the post office, you're going to send it with lots of love, make sure it arrives at my door.
Especially Mercury retrograde. We send it with extra love.
Extra love. So there you go again. So Irma even knows like the stars. She's going to really give it extra good juju to get to you.
Absolutely.
Not everybody really knows how
that it gets to people. Well, you know, we're already at an hour, so
of course we are.
I know. You know how we are. I mean, Shannon and I, like, it just flies by.
Yeah.
I do have a meditation that I wanted to share with everyone. So let's take a moment, and I'm going to get a sip of water, and let's just take a little moment.
When did you get that rock and roll blonde stripe in your hair?
Oh, really? Oh, did you like it?
Oh, nice.
I got it in, when did I get that?
Pretty.
Thank you. I got it in January.
Oh,
for my birthday. Yay.
For your birthday. Yay.
They're all over, but that one turned out good.
Nice.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Okay, so everybody, let's are we ready to do that? Do you want to do the meditation?
Yes, I'd love to. Yeah. Thank you.
I want to get comfy. Here, give me just a minute.
We're getting comfy with you.
We're going to be comfy. Okay. So I'm going to get Audie. Audie's got to be facing out.
Okay.
So everybody that has a crystal skull, and I know that some people will be watching this later and, in the replay. So this is also, you don't have to be here live. Our intention is that everybody participating in this meditation, whether it be live or later, receive benefit. Another thing to share, you do not have to have a crystal skull to participate in this meditation. If you have one, that's great, but there's an aspect to it that is for everybody.
Okay.
And another thing we're going to be putting out here, if you like a crystal skull and you want to draw an appropriate one to you, we're going to be putting this with our intention. Okay. And you know what I'm going to do, just so we don't have any disturbances, I'm going to take a moment and put Penny on the chair.
Okay.
So I'll be right back.
That's a good idea, Miss.
Yes, she likes to be on the chair. She's getting a little older, and I need to help her get on the chair.
Oh, if you guys don't know who Penny is, she is like the cutest doggy ever with the best name, Penny Lane, as you can guess after the Beatles song.
Yay!
Yay! So let's send Penny Lane lots of love. Get cozy on her chair.
She likes to be in the chair when we meditate. She likes to be. She's on the chair. Okay.
And Luna's all perfect where she is.
Luna's back there. All right. Everybody's situated. Thanks for putting up with that. Okay.
Awesome.
So what I'm going to do, too, is remember that your precious being.
Uh-huh. Wow. Thank you.
This being is going to be directly across from Audie in this meditation.
Whoa. I'm already going, whoa. Thank you.
You're so much fun. You're just so
totally. Much. This is what happens at Bright Star Emporium, people. So go join her Facebook club. This is
what happens on the Cosmic Couch. And we have so much fun. We need to do it more because it's so great.
Yes, you're right.
So I'm going to lead us through this, okay? And it's just going to be a brief meditation. So everybody, why don't we take some nice centering breaths. Bring our consciousness right here. Whoa, there's a lot of divine beings hanging out with us today. So since these vibes with the Aquarian moon are so high frequency, and we're so in upper chakras, so what I'd like to do is have us start at our crown chakra above our head. If you're not visual, it's okay. You can just do it through intention. We're going to feel our energy go down our spine, through all our chakras, through the root chakra, through the earth star below our feet, and going all the way down to the molten core of Gaia. So we are now nice and grounded in our physical and energetic body. We're now going to bring our consciousness, continuing to breathe deeply, going to bring our consciousness to the upper heart chakra, which is in between your physical heart and your throat. It is about right here. This is an area of high frequency and information. The crystal skulls love this particular chakra. This is one of the esoteric chakras in the human being. And again, if you're not visual, there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's all perfect. And I'm calling in our highest level guides and masters, the Akashic Wisdom Keepers, the healing angels, and the highest aspects of the Crystal Skull Guardians. And we thank them for being with us here today. So it is our intention that if we do have skulls crystal skulls, that they be activated to the most perfect frequency for us today. And if we do not have them, we are just going to receive the blessing of these high frequencies into our being. And for folks who have an intention that would like to be a crystal skull guardian, we are going to put that intention out, that the most ideal tool and crystal skull be brought to you for your use and your service. So now, back to this glowing, warm energy of the upper heart chakra. It feels so good and warm there, and I could see everybody. You're looking so beautiful, so bright. We are now going to go to the crown chakra, which is on top of your head. It is a beautiful violet purple color. We now will bring our energy above the crown to the soul star, which has to do with our divine purpose. Woo! Everybody's looking beautiful. We then bring our consciousness even higher to the great central sun of our universe. This is the brightest sun that you can imagine. It is filled with incredible celestial light and love and consciousness. And feel your connection to this wonderful source. It is highly protective, very wise. Everyone participating in this meditation activation will receive this blessing, either in this now moment or in the future. So take a moment just to be with this. Be open to any impressions that you may receive, being open and receptive. And we go even higher from the great central sun to the light of Source itself, the father and mother of all worlds. A source of infinite bliss, infinite consciousness, infinite peace and love. And just resting in that frequency. And now we see Gaia, we see our beautiful blue planet, and we see that there is a beautiful crystalline network of white light, like a blueprint that is interconnected all over the entire globe. This is the crystalline network that is highly intelligent. If you are a crystal skull guardian, your skull is part of this network. If you have yet to become a guardian and wish to, your future crystal skull is aligned with this network. If you just wish to receive this higher knowledge, love, and wisdom, let it be so. This is also an intention that we have today. So we feel this light from Source, still filling our entire being like a bubble of light, cleansing and purifying all chakras, all bodies. We're feeling very peaceful and very loved. So we now, through our intention, know that our crystal skulls are joined in this vast intelligence network in higher dimensions, and that they are permanently connected to this higher source. We bless and activate all crystal skulls in our possession or that will come to us, that they would be magical tools for our healing, our enlightenment, and our abundance. This is another powerful purpose, is that these skulls can bring us greater prosperity and abundance. This is a concern for many. This is coming through. So a reminder that we can use these wonderful tools to bless our lives in all areas. As a reminder that we possess all that we need and all that we are already. We are part of the great I am, just being ourselves. So sit with that for just a moment. That powerful understanding that there is no lack in source. All needs are met. That everything we need in our lives comes to us spontaneously through synchronicity, through grace. And we ask that this energy flow through the grid to all sentient beings, flow to our skulls that will become part of our lives and our environment that may be sitting close to us now. We know that this is so. We also open the space. If you would like to activate your skull for a specific purpose, take a few moments in this open space and do so through your intention. You may feel drawn to touch the skull or not. It is not necessary. However you wish to connect with it. So let's take a moment and do this with the skulls that we do have. If your skull has not yet arrived at your home, you can also put out your intention as to what this tool will serve for you. This grid is really bright. It's looking very beautiful. All of your guides and angels are so pleased. And we are so honored to be sitting in this sacred space with all of these divine beings. So know that this space is always yours for you to return to whenever you like, that the light of Source blesses you today and always. So let us begin to bring our consciousness back from the higher realms, back to the top of our head, back to the third eye in between the eyebrows, and down into the upper heart center. I bow and say namaste to you all, to all of the divine beings that are here today, in great blessing and gratitude. Namaste.
Irma Kaye Sawyer. Oh my God. It's like, where's the tissue? So beautiful. Thank you.
Woo, any comments on that? That was amazing. I could do this.
Totally amazing.
We could do this more often. That was pretty amazing. Any comments, anyone? Wow. Wow, that's good. We like wow.
We love wow.
We love wow.
Wonderful, says Amanda. Gratitude with love, says Susan. So very powerful. I was holding my skull at my heart and I had tears, says Nicole. Thank you, says Shauna. The light I saw was brilliant, says Amanda.
Yay! Thank you so much, everyone, for coming today and gracing us with your presence. A couple of things, IrmaKayeSawyer.com. Bright Star Emporium, Facebook at Irma Kaye Sawyer, and we'll put it in Lunar, ladies.
Yeah.
So people don't have to be going all over to try to find it. So that is the group. If you'd like to purchase your own crystal skull, I have some beautiful ones on order. I also have my other thing, just real quick, I've gotten really into aura crystals, which is taking a quartz crystal and treating it with platinum and gold. And these have been around for a while. And it's interesting, like, I don't know if my ability to kind of put my finger on the pulse of what's happening. This is, yes, here we go. This is an angel aura, everyone, which is one of my,
Irma.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. An angel aura connects with the angelic realms. It's a beautiful, beautiful, peaceful energy. I have some now on order. I mean, these sold out like within 10 minutes of me getting them. I have some purple ones that are brand new. And you know what's cool? People in my group named them. They're violet flame.
I know, I'm on your
quartz. And you know what? They are violet flame. That's what they are. They're dark purple with this gold. They're just gorgeous. So of course that's high, crown chakra, all of that. So all of these high vibe tools, just to kind of back up, we need these right now. And not only that, I mean, obviously if you're watching this, you're watching this event, you're in either one of our groups, you're welcome. Thank you for the meditation. I'm going to be doing more of those on MP4. And those, like I said, those are phenomenal. I think they'll be $8.88 or something like that. And those will be available for you guys to listen to. But there was something that happened. Audie, I'm a little different since Audie's come into my life. I'm a little different in a good way. Right?
Yes. Oh, yes. I was just like, Irma, this is different.
Yeah.
It was amazing before. You have an amazing gift to teach us and lead us in these and guide us into these higher realms. But that was different. Yeah. You've shifted.
These crystals are really, when you connect with that grid, it's really powerful. And again, you don't even have to have a crystal skull. There's something about the grid, this crystalline grid, that when we connect with that, there's so much wisdom and intelligence. It's so great. But anyway, back to this real quick. I know people want to get to their day. So anyway, aura quartz is very big right now, along with the skulls. The other thing that's very big and popular, I have this on right now. You can't really see it. This is Lemurian. This is a Lemurian seed crystal. By the way, I was told that I'm not supposed to keep this. So this is going to be for sale today.
Whoa.
So, because I wear something every day and I was told to wear this and to activate this. And also there was just something, this is going to be in Bright Star. I do that. I'll activate things and wear them, and then I'll move them on down the road. Which is hard because me being Crystal Mom, I've gotten good at going, okay, go along your way.
Right.
I can't be a Crystal Mom hoarder.
Right.
I mean, Patty and I have a lot of jokes about this. Yeah. I mean, it's already like a crystal museum in here. And this is why I live in a house and not an apartment anymore, because I need space.
But your space must vibe so high with all of the crystal babies you have that are waiting, ready to go on to other.
They are. And another thing is they all go on my altar. They all are very, very loved before they move along. But another thing to think about for people, I have a few now. I'll be posting them. Lemurian seed crystals are very, very powerful. And again, they may not be the prettiest crystal, but that's irrelevant. It's not about, because some of the ones that, granted, some of the quartz crystals are beautiful. I have one that's for sale that was charged in the Integratron that's really beautiful. I think Lemurians are beautiful. I think they're really interesting. They actually have little ridges in them that have to do, it's almost similar to like the rings on a tree. Remember how there's the ring of a tree is a year or something like that? It's a record keeper. So Lemurian seed crystals are actual record keeper crystals.
Wow.
So they're very, very powerful. These are some of the first tools that I started being a distributor of because I was working with them. So I'd say the main things that we've got going for tools that are really powerful right now are crystal skulls, the aura quartz, and Lemurians. And Bright Star Emporium has all of these right now.
Right, because you have like rose, aqua
Rose.
or tangerine you're getting.
I'm getting
violet.
tangerine. I'm
Wow.
getting ruby. I'm
Ruby.
getting another, been gifted a few Lumerians. Yeah, they're amazing. They're really amazing. If someone gifts you that, that's a wonderful gift. So yeah, for the aura quartz, I'm getting some tangerine, otherwise known as sunshine, which I love. Rose, which is pink, ruby, which is more red, and the violet flames, which are amazing. So everybody, can you read what she says here? I didn't know there were.
Oh, I didn't know there were different kinds. That's so awesome.
Yeah, there are different ones, and they have different purposes. Another thing, speaking of aura quartz, go over to Bright Star Emporium. I found a very good article from the UK on all of the different types of aura quartz and what they do. What is the Integratron? The Integratron is a dome in Landers, California. That there's a whole. I could talk a lot about that, but
that's a whole other cosmic couch chat.
Integratron is basically a spaceship on the Earth. That's the only other way to describe it.
Wow.
My last time I was there, my dad on the other side. I'll just tell you this real quickly. My dad left when I was 3 years old, so my relationship with him has been in spirit my whole life. Mm-hmm. And he kind of comes and goes, but he was there, and I said something about, why are you here? And he says, oh, it's easier for you to reach me when you're in this spaceship.
Oh, that's what he said?
My dad calls it the spaceship. And so it is a dome. It's integratron.com. And basically, these are friends of mine. I've been going there for, I figured out, almost 20 years. It's out near Joshua Tree where I live. And the plans were given to George Van Tassel by people not of this world. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, for skeptics, the entire building has no metal or screws.
Yeah, it's all like interlocking pieces.
It's all interlocking pieces, and it's a perfect sound chamber. Musicians, people come from all over the world. I'm very blessed that I actually booked private. I did a private with just a few people on March 9th. And that's where my whole body's vibrating. Yeah, it'll do that. It's a spaceship. It's also, I should mention, it's on 2 ley lines. So it's powerful points of energy. So you've got this dome on the ley line. So it's pretty major.
Right, because he was instructed to build it on those ley lines.
Not only that, they kept telling him, the Venusians kept telling him that there was water, and people are like, what are you talking about? This is in the middle of the desert. They dug down like 50 feet, and there was water underneath it.
Whoa. So cool.
It's so cool. So speaking of that, it's not till October, I'm leading another retreat on October 5th. That weekend, I have another private session with the Integratron.
So you're going to have a retreat to the Integratron.
Well, that's part of the retreat. So people can either be part of my whole weekend retreat, or if they want to kind of pay separately and just go. But it's going to be limited to probably 10 people.
Oh, so exclusive retreat.
So my retreat actually is limited to 5 women. It's a women's retreat. But the actual event in the Integratron, I will open it up to 10 people. Okay, if you want to, again, part of the retreat, or if you just want to go, and that's on October 5th. That event has already been made. It's at Bright Star Consulting. Okay. So we could share that in Lunar Ladies and talk about that.
Do you have, you also have a class coming up, is that right?
I do, thank you for that. I'm going back to teaching. I've been on hiatus for quite a while due to some personal things and some people's passing and things I had to work through. I'm excited that I'm going back to teaching. My intuitive development class starts April 28th, and that is very limited in space. These classes are only 4 to 5 students per level. Mm-hmm. So that's the preliminary class. Thank you for that, Shannon. That's the preliminary prerequisite class for people that are not working professionally as readers, because I go on and will teach all 4 levels of my Akashic training that is going to start in May. Late May. So it'll be May, June. I want to have it done before the 2 levels will be done before Mercury retrograde. Then I usually don't teach. I'm going to be traveling in that period, and then we'll start it up again, I think probably in August. So it's 4 levels. Level 1, reading for yourself. Level 2, reading for other people. Level 3, medical intuitive readings using the physical avatar, which is something I brought through with Casey. Level 4, divine blueprint and other quantum, very advanced healing techniques. So each level builds upon that. I've also, I have an application that, thanks Haley if you're watching this, Haley has actually created, we're going to have an application because these classes are not for everyone.
Right.
So there is going to be some questions and, you know, to determine if it's a good fit.
Right.
Well, that's my sign.
I know, right? Penny's like, okay, ladies, cut it.
She needs a little tinkle break. Yeah, she's ready to go outside.
Okay.
Look, everybody.
Thank you so much, Irma. Thank you for sharing
so much.
With us.
And we'll be talking soon. You know where to find me.
Okay, thank you so much. Bye.